Okay, I'm here with 3 of the 5 members of the Angels 100%. We've got Bob Spencer, Jim Hilbun and Doc Neeson.
Sir.
Welcome to Boganmania.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And if I can just ask you guys, I'll let you guys decide who's going to answer, but how did this Angels 100% come about?
Right, arm wrestle.
I actually thought of that. I was giggling to myself. I was thinking about all the political bullshit and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, let's call it the Angels 100%, you know, just as a bit of a giggle. And then I sent off an email to a couple of people, and they came back and went, "We love it!"
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So call me 20 from now on.
Plenty of 20.
20.
Yeah.
Like 20 cents.
But what spawned the idea? Who got in contact with who? Did you get a phone call? Or,
This mysterious person called me many months ago and said and asked, in principle, would I like to perform with some members of the band, and this is how my involvement came about. And I said, well, you kind of, maybe, but you know, certain things would need to be cleared up, and you know, we're all grown up now, and so my conversations were over a period of 6 months before this came to being. So that's, I don't actually know, because I didn't speak with you directly at the very beginning.
But you know, as you know, there's been some friction going on, and the Brewster's brothers have gone out calling themselves the Angels. Well, that didn't really strike me as being the Angels, and so I was getting like stopped by fans in the street and going, "What's going on? These guys are out calling themselves the Angels," and so we talked about it with we being Buzz Bidstrup, who's not here at the moment, our drummer, who was in the Angels original band, and we just were tossing ideas around as to what could we do to clarify the confusion for fans, and it sort of didn't come like as a blinding flash, but we started thinking, well, why don't we just have everybody who's ever been in the Angels, and that's you know, everybody's an angel, so that's kind of led to Jim picking up on that, and so it just kind of summarised the situation and put a bit of a light spin on it. But it's also, I mean, a real plus to me is we had a rehearsal a few weeks ago, and so we've got somebody from, there's James Morley is also, wasn't available to come along today, but we've got somebody from really almost every decade, and they might have, that the Angels have been running, which is now 38 years, and in 2014 it'll be our 40th anniversary. So then we started looking at what material we would do, and so we tried to pick some of the best songs from each decade or whatever albums each of us have played on. Mm-hmm. And so that's produced for us, I think, one of our best set lists for a long time.
It's quite diverse.
It's diverse.
It was good.
But
everybody on their own just put together their own list of songs that they thought would be good to do, and not necessarily thinking about, you know, hits or fan popularity or anything. First and foremost for me, it was like, look through everything and go, I'd love to do that song. We haven't done that in 20 years or whatever. There's a great song that, because often you record an album, you get into this dilemma of you end up playing the singles off it, but you don't end up playing the whole album, because there's that expectation. It's a circular thing, because you think, well, what do the fans of the band want to hear, and so you're kind of guessing about something that you don't really know. So we took it each from our own standpoint first, and then collated everything, and that's how we put together what we're going to be doing. And that'll probably expand as well, because
It'll change.
everybody's got more choices.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's a bit of a cross-section, really, of the Angels. Like, how did rehearsals go? What was the vibe like at rehearsals?
It sounded really, honestly, it sounded really good, and had it not sounded good, I wouldn't be
Yeah,
here.
we probably wouldn't
now.
do it today.
I was very clear about from the very beginning that if the band didn't sound like a great band, I wasn't going to
Yeah,
do it.
there'd really be no
You
point in doing it.
No, and the thing is that you might ask, well, okay, there are 5 great musicians in the band. Why wouldn't it be a great band? Because 5 great musicians a great band do not make. A band
Always.
has other stuff going on, and it's not really about the individual musicianship of the members. So it just transpired that the 5 of us together sound like a formidable band, and it was surprising to me that from the very first song we sounded like we'd been playing together for a while, and that's not always achievable with 5. And everything sounded really good. It really did sound good, and I repeat that had it not, we just wouldn't be having this conversation now, because
Sure.
none of us have the time to be involved in something that isn't going to work, isn't fun.
Yeah.
We have other things to do. We
Yeah.
don't need to do this. So it was a prerequisite that the band sounded good, and it does.
I think as well as sounded, that we all felt comfortable being together.
Yeah.
And you know, because a lot of the energy of what a band does, and that's why I agree with Bob's comment that just because you've got 5 great musicians doesn't mean you're going to have a great band, and you've got to have that rapport going between us. And I know for myself, when I was you know, sort of heading towards the rehearsal room door, I was thinking, you know, is this Pandora's box? What am I opening up here? And I really was wondering, same as you, what we were going to sound like. But I was also, given that other combinations of people have had personality clashes within the band, I was wondering how we'd all get on. And that side of it was also an important part for me. Buzz, come in.
Hello. Entrez-vous.
Welcome, Buzz.
Thank you very much. I hope they've been saying nice things about me.
Absolutely.
We haven't talked about you at all, really.
We'll tidy it up. No, well, we're just
Go ahead.
talking about the combination of legitimate Angels people that have been in the band.
That's
and,
a good word, legitimate.
Yeah, okay.
As opposed to illegitimate angel.
Well, I mean, of course, you were there in the early days, Buzz, and
I was.
And, you know, Bob and Jim in the mid days, and it sort of means you've got a.
Well, the late early days, really,
Yeah.
if you want to.
Well, you've
These
got-
guys were in the band longer than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
but you're
both of them.
taller.
Hey?
But you're taller.
I'm taller.
They're longer and you're
And probably
taller.
a little better looking.
It's all right. I had more room in my seat on the plane.
Indeed. Actually, we probably toured as much as you guys did in your time in the 5 years I was there.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's pretty
Probably
interesting,
in
isn't it?
much less
Don't you think it's
comfort.
good? Like some,
Oh yeah.
and long time member, one who's always been there.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the obvious question is the set list, like, are you going to favour one era, or is it going to be across the board, or what can people expect?
I think what's come about just through this process of us all throwing in what we think would be a good set list, that's sort of a set list by consensus, you know, so everybody's and lots of times the songs that we thought would be good, somebody else had thought of doing that as well. So
Yeah.
it sort of got built up like that. But like Jim was saying, it wasn't really a set list built on just playing the hits.
Yeah. Okay.
And
We're incredibly democratic, actually, because
Okay,
I've got this list I was looking at in the plane, and it's the votes. So we put them all into a grid, and everyone said which songs would you like to do. Then we worked out, which ones had the most votes and which had the less. And now I notice on the Facebook there's a lot of people asking for certain songs
Yes.
that we didn't have on there. So that's probably something we should talk about and maybe
Next
learn
time.
them
Well, they can learn them and support us.
Well, that's not bad.
And this has been asked a lot, as you all know. We know you're doing a tour early next year. Have you got any plans for more of a national tour at this stage?
Thoughts. I'm not sure about plans, but thoughts. I would, if the February March thing goes well, and what I mean by well is if we're happy,
Yeah.
and people come to the gigs, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Then
You're so understated,
Yeah.
Bob.
I think a couple of months after that, but
Yeah.
I've not seen anything come across my desk that's a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
So
think
is this
a couple of
upcoming
months
tour a
after
bit of a
that.
tester, see how everything goes? And
Yeah, I'd say it's an aspect of it.
yeah, okay.
Especially
And
since we've never played before,
Yeah.
you know, as this lineup. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really a new band,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, of course, we've all been in the band,
Yeah.
and we all have that in common. But yeah, as Buzz says, we've never all played before except for our rehearsal. But that
Yeah.
was so encouraging
Yeah.
that we decided to go ahead with the February-March gigs,
Yeah.
and you know, we'll I guess assess how we feel about the band and how well we go over with the audience
Yeah.
as to what our next step will be.
Okay, excellent. So we'll look forward to it, we hope.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
hope so.
Well, we do hope as well that
Yeah.
that it is going to turn out in such a way that we'll want to continue with it.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your time.